Good morning. This is your tutor, Rita Davids. This is your presentation for the examination-based context session for English and Academic Communication Skills 2. Dear students, as you know by now, some of the courses have been combined. The examinations for 2017, that is April, August and November, had to be compiled as requested by the IOL using the following assignments: DPPE, that is the Diploma in Pre-Primary Education; DJPE, the Diploma in Junior Primary Education; BESP, Bachelor of Education Senior Primary; and DSE, Diploma in Secondary Education. As the Diploma in Secondary Education is a new course, the assignment of DJPE was used for 2017. Although the Diploma in Pre-Primary Education is being phased out, the assignment for 2017 must still be used in preparation for the examinations. It will be wise to get the assignments of all the courses to get acquainted with the content of each assignment. Examination. The following is important information for your upcoming examination. Format. The duration is 2.5 hours for 120 marks. It is important that you answer all questions with subsections. The exam script consists of the following. Question 1 will be 12 marks, question 2 34 marks, question 3 30 marks, and question 4 20 marks. Study material. The study guide for the DPPE EACS12 on the Kindle, the study guide for the BESP EACS12 also on the Kindle, and the English handbook and study guide by Beryl Lutheran only for the DPPE and the BESPE students. The new combined IOL study guide for DJPE EACS12, BES EACS12, DSE EACS12 on the Kindle. The content of the DPPE and the BESP study guides are exactly the same, and references will therefore be the same. DPPE and BESP students will also be referred to the Lutheran book that has to be used as indicated in the study guides. The DJPE and the DSE students only have to use the new IOL guide. References will be made from this guide. Understanding the questions. Every part of information can be accessed in a number of different ways. The examination papers are set up in 3 levels. Each question usually starts with a verb. Please pay special attention to the verbs used. These will guide you to what action you are expected to perform. Failing to perform the correct action will result in low marks and/or the loss of valuable marks. The following are the verbs mainly used. For level 1 will be 50%, and this has to do with knowledge. Define. Give the precise, brief meaning of something. Indicate what features are included and excluded. Describe. Provide detailed features of an issue or stages of a process in a logical sequence using numbers and headings and proper sentences. Identify, recognize, and name or list features. List or state. Present a list of names, facts, objects, etc. in a certain order. Then about comprehension. Explain. Describe something and indicate relationships between things, making clear the why, the reasons, and how, the examples of features. Summarize. Give a brief account of the essence of a matter through the main ideas. No details or examples, focusing on connections and meaning. Clarify. Describe something to clear up the meaning or significance. For level 2, 40%. Application. Demonstrate. Perform the necessary operations. Show by example. Propose. Suggest a plan or an idea. Analyze. Examine information in detail to discover the main ideas, components, patterns or relationships. Show why they are important and how components are related and what theories they reflect. Discuss. Give a clear description and then argue about features by pointing out positive and negative features, arriving at a conclusion. Level 3 will be 10%. Evaluation. Evaluate means to determine the value, the worth, quality or success of something according to certain criteria. Compare. Indicate similarities, resemblances and differences of phenomena regarding particular criteria. Draw a conclusion about the similarities and differences, emphasizing the similarities. Very often a table format is used to compare phenomena. A description of one phenomenon after the other is not a comparison. Critical thinking. Argue. Give valid reasons of ideas, facts and sources. Discuss critically. Students have to give a reasoned judgment after carefully weighing the facts. Students have to provide positive and negative points and draw a conclusion. Distinguish. Describe two phenomena or things according to relevant criteria. Point out clearly the differences between the two sets. Differentiate. Show how things are different or opposite regarding particular criteria. Look only for differences, not for similarities too, as in the case for compare. Important. All answers consist of facts that you will have to study from your study guide. In the case of the DPPE and BESP students, you will have to study facts from the English handbook and study guide as well. For the language structured questions, you must understand the spoken and written language. Examination cover page. Under student details, the following information must be filled in. Your student number, surname, first name, ID number and examination center. Instructions. Read the general instructions and examination instructions carefully and ensure that you know what is required before you start. You are not permitted to take any form of notes into the examination room. Plan your time wisely and write as quickly and neatly as you can. Make sure that you watch the time to ensure that you finish in time. If time permits, read through your answers to pick up possible mistakes. Then you must also make sure that you have answered all questions. Very important, some students write everything in capital letters. Only use capital letters as indicated in the study guide on page 185, that is 2.1.2, and in the Lutheran book on page 10. This is very important when you write letters, essays, grammatical sentences, etc. I must be able to see whether you know how to use capital letters. Also important, the paper is set up so that you write on the paper itself. The quantity of lines given will also help you to determine the length of your answer. Do not skip lines as the quantity of lines are limited. Only concentrate on the facts. Also look at the marks allocated to each question to determine how many facts to write to obtain the correct marks. Core topics for the units in the study guide. References are done according to the Kindle, as all the students have the Kindle. Page references are also done in brackets according to the actual study guide or hard copies for those who have it. DPPE and BES students. Your study guide consists out of 2 units. Unit 3, it says describe the W and H questions for gathering information and explain the common law guidelines for managing or chairing group discussions. On page 12 and on page 13 to 15 there are meetings. For the examination, concentrate on the following: your W questions on the Kindle or on page 11 in the study guide. If you are given W questions, it means you have to set up questions related to the passage that is given. This means I must be able to find answers to your questions in the given passage. Do not explain why and where you use the different W words. And remember, all questions end with a question mark. Plagiarism. On the Kindle, is it number 9, and in the book it's page 8. It is under word of welcome. There you will find plagiarism. It is important to understand this term when doing your assignment, and that is why you have to study this to make sure you always remember this. Unit 4, Linguistic Constructs. Please follow the guidance given and study the pages as given in the English Handbook and Study Guide by P. Lutheran. How to write letters and essays in Lutheran on page 75 to 79. Some common language errors in the Study Guide on page 28. How to write interdepartmental memorandums in the Study Guide on page 35. The etiquette applicable for writing emails and SMSs in the Lutheran book. How to write minutes and progress reports on page 80 in the Lutheran book. How to edit your own and your peer writing in the Lutheran book. What academic writing involves, you will get in the Study Guide on page 39. The APA referencing system in text and reference lists are in the Study Guide on page 40 to 43. For the examination, concentrate on the following: the English Handbook and Study Guide by Lutheran. Punctuation on page 10. You must know how to use punctuation marks. Then you will be asked to punctuate a short passage. Nouns on page 16. You must be able to define the different types of nouns. Degrees of comparison on page 27. There you must compare nouns. For example, big, bigger, biggest. Past and present tense on page 28. You will be asked to give the past tense of certain words in a given passage. Active and passive voice on page 32. You will be asked to change sentences from the active voice to the passive voice. Prepositions on page 36. You will have to choose the correct prepositions to finish the sentences. Direct and indirect speech on page 38. Here you must be able to change sentences from the direct speech to the indirect speech. Prefixes on page 46. This is a letter or a group of letters attached to the beginning of the word. Synonyms and antonyms on page 48 and 52. You will be asked to identify these in the passage. Official or personal letters, page 77 and 78. Make sure you know the difference between these two types of letters. You will have to write a letter. Make sure of the features of these letters. And on the Kindle, there you will get spelling errors 4.2.1. You will be asked to correct the spelling of misspelled words in a given passage. The general rules, the APA reference system 4.8. Make sure you understand this. DJPE and DSE students, your study guide consists out of 4 units. Linguistic constructs, that is the verbs, nouns and concord, your prefixes and suffixes, your sentence analysis, tenses, figurative and literal use of language, direct and indirect speech, voice, modality and conditional language. For the examination, concentrate on the following. Your types of nouns, 1.1.2.2. You must be able to define the different types of nouns. Your prefixes, 1.2.2. This is a letter or a group of letters attached to the beginning of a word. W questions, 1.3.2.1. You will find this under types of clauses. If you are given W or H questions, it means you have to set up questions related to the passage that is given. Do not explain why and where you use the different W words. Remember, all questions end with a question mark. Past and present tense, 1.4. You will be asked to give the past tense of certain words in a given passage. Direct and indirect speech, 1.6. You must be able to change sentences from the direct to the indirect speech. Active and passive voice, 1.7. Here you will be asked to change sentences from the active voice to the passive voice. Synonyms and antonyms. You will be asked to identify these in the passage. Degrees of comparisons. Compare nouns. Example, big, bigger, biggest. Prepositions. You will have to choose the correct preposition to finish the sentences. Unit 2. Different types of writing. Here you get language errors, sentences and paragraphs. Structure and style of letters. Punctuation and apostrophe used in text. English spelling rules. Plan and write good essays. Writing a novel. How visual literacy can benefit writing. Writing interdepartmental memos. Etiquette for writing emails and SMSs. 2.10.1 are emails, and 2.10.2 you get SMSs. Minutes and progress reports, and editing your own and peer writing. For the examination, concentrate on the following. Official or personal letters, 2.3.4. Make sure you know the difference between these two types of letters. You will have to write a letter. Make sure of the features of these letters. Punctuation, 2.4. You must know how to use punctuation marks. Then you will be asked to punctuate a short passage. Spelling errors, 2.5.2. You will be asked to correct the spelling of misspelled words in a given passage. 3. Academic writing conventions. There you get academic literacy, paragraphs which aim to entertain or inform or persuade, academic writing genres, communicative purpose and audience of academic writing genres, factors that determine academic writing style, guidelines for writing summaries of text. And you also get the following: how mind maps and diagrams can be used to plan and analyze the structure of written ideas, integration of academic sources, general hints on effective academic writing, features of an academic writing assignment, and there's also features of a given academic article. And last, you get critical questions when evaluating an academic test. Unit 4, the use of the APA referencing system. The concept plagiarism on page 412. General rules of the APA citations in text, that is capital letters, quotations and paraphrasing. Guidelines for citations of types of print material, and guidelines for citation of electronic sources. The adapted Harvard referencing technique and the APA referencing rules and techniques. For the examination, concentrate on the following. Plagiarism, number 9 on the Kindle or number 12 in the actual book. You will find it under Word of Welcome. It is important to understand this term when doing your assignment, and that is why you have to study this to make sure you always remember this. General rules, APA referencing system 4.2. Make sure you understand this. Exam preparation and writing tips. Exam timetable. Make sure you know what rooms your exams will be in and what dates and time they start. Consult the IOL office for these details and not the subject tutor. During the examinations, write your details as requested. Read the exam paper a couple of times to make sure you understand the instructions and questions. Make sure you answer all questions. Do not dive into writing without first reading the entire paper. Calculate how much time you will give to each question and stick to it. Emergency. If you happen to fall ill during the exam session, immediately notify the invigilator for correct action to be taken. General. Obtaining high marks in your assignment does not guarantee high marks in the examinations. You now have to make sure you know the content of the assignment and other information from the study guide very well to do well in the coming examination. Make sure that you have all the information you get from the context sessions and the feedback of the assignments. You will find very important and useful information through these. Please study hard for the upcoming examinations to be successful. If you need my help on something, contact me on my email address below. If you state what you do not understand or ask a question, I can give you a well-constructed answer. I wish you all the best. Rita Davids, and my email